Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today is going to be a fucking special episode because I'm going to be interviewing a legend, and not just any legend, a legend of Playboy, and she doubled for Janet Leigh in the infamous shower scene in Psycho in 1960, the Alfred Hitchcock classic, and her name is Marli Renfro. She doubled for Janet Leigh, and she was also in a student film that Francis Ford Coppola did in 1962 that was a softcore porno movie. I don't know what possessed Francis Coppola to make a softcore porno movie in 1962 for, a student film, but we are going to find out today, and it's going to be just fucking awesome. I can't wait and stuff. I just want to find out, what Playboy was like in those days, what being a stripper was in those days, and modeling and all that stuff. And it's going to be pretty fucking sweet, I think. It's going to be pretty fucking sweet. So, yeah, here is my interview with the legendary Marli Renfro. Hi, Marli.
Hi, Tommy.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing
Good.
So great. Oh, boy, this is such an honor because I've been a lifelong collector of Playboy and pornography, and you've always been a staple of my fantasies, and I thank you.
You're welcome.
Just so you know, it's impossible to offend me, so swear if you must.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
I do swear. I have a sailor's mouth. I gotta watch it.
oh, me too, so we'll get along great.
Okay, good.
So going back to the beginning, because you came from an era where sex wasn't talked about in most families, were you always a free-spirited sexual person?
No, not at all. No. Geez, my mom always said, want you to be a good girl. Want you to be a good girl. So no. I was 18. It was 18 years and 1 month when I went up to Vegas to be a chorus dancer at the El Rancho Vegas, and I was a virgin at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Nice. So what did you want to be when you were little, though?
I haven't the slightest idea. I didn't have any goals of that. I was thinking of being a fashion designer in my senior years of high school. And I was enrolled to go to Bradbury School of Design. I think it was on Wilshire. I'm not sure. Anyway, right after high school, we lived out in Arcadia, and I went to Monrovia High School, Monrovia Duarte High School.
Nice.
So I got a job right after I graduated. I got a job downtown at Coast Federal Savings and Loan, and worked in their I can't think of the word of it, but anyway, it's where people come, the center where you find out what's going on, Information, I guess you would say it is.
So,
the first time I really had a job, I had worked as a waitress up in Big Bear during the winter at a little place, and I'm surprised that little place is still there. It's I don't know if you're familiar with Big Bear, but
I've heard something
between
about
maybe a mile or so, where would that be, east of downtown or the village of Big Bear. There, right on the corner is a little round building. It sets up on kind of a knoll, but that was a coffee shop, and I was a waitress there for a while. Otherwise, I babysat. So, this was my first job, and my parents I guess we were poor or moderately poor. I just never thought about it. My mom made all my clothes.
Mm-hmm. Your mother was very protective?
Oh, I don't know. Protective. That's a different word. No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been asked that question, and I've never even thought on those lines.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in a way, but not really.
Mm-hmm. It seems like she was very caring.
Yes, yeah, she was. Definitely.
When did you get into stripping?
That started, let's see. It was after high school, I know. I started doing beauty contests. I did a lot of beauty contests.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And I belonged to the agency. I think it was Bluebird Modeling Agency. A lady, I don't know how old she was. She was old to me. I mean, I was just 17. I graduated from high school at 17, so I was 17 at the time. And anyway, she got me, sent me to, a lot of those. And then I also got a lot of local television commercials. Harry something and his Hawaiian, Harry, I don't know. But I was paid in clothes, which moves and stuff. So I gave those to my mom, and she had some of them until she passed away. I met Hilo Hattie on one of the shows, I remember. I did a lot of advertising for land and promotions, like Lake Mojave Ranchos.
Mm-hmm.
Myself and another girl flew out to there, Lake Mojave, and they filmed us water skiing on the lake and horseback riding and walking across the property into the clubhouse and all of that. But my dad was in real estate, and he advertised heavily on Channel 5 and 11. He was on Ben Hunter's and Jackson Wheeler shows, really a lot. And the director of the Lake Mojave Ranchos commercial worked at Channel 5, and I had met him. He knew my dad. I had been on the set a few times, and in fact, I did some commercials for my dad, because he did land and lots and resort areas. So he got me into modeling, into pinup modeling, basically. And it was just all basically with the clothes on. Although, when I was in Vegas, let's see, that's after that. Let's see. Time. I met him after Vegas. After, yeah. Okay. I didn't get into any of that until after I got, let's see, it was early 59.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas. In fact, how I got my thing in Vegas, I was at a beauty contest down at Venice.
Right.
And in fact, I came up second. Lady Barbara Johnson, I think her name was, came in first. She later married Mickey Bruni. But anyway, there, backstage, I met a man. To me, he was ancient. He was probably in his 60s, but NTG, Niles T. Garland, and he told me about that they're looking for bottles to advertise the El Mirador Hotel in Palm Springs. So another girl and myself, we were taken along with the photographers, I guess. I really don't remember all of the particulars. But they photographed us around the pool and a reception area, just to put on their brochures and their postcards. Oh, in fact, she's the one who gave me my nickname, Marli. My given name is Marli. Marlys, Renfro. And so she says, that's too staid a name. You have to change your name. So he decided on Marli and then with an I. So I was 17 then. And so Niles then also told me that they're interviewing for girls who who look nice and can dance. And my mom had enrolled me at Meglin Kitties when I was about 4 or something like that. So I had a little bit of dancing, and plus I love ballroom dancing. I could really dance almost all the different dances, ballroom dancing.
Nice.
So I went to that interview, and I got the job. And it was for the El Rancho Vegas, and we were the Renee Molnar dancers. Renee was the lead dancer, and then there were 6 or 8 of us girls that were the background for her, basically. So I remember our first costume. It was so pretty. It was like a full-size bathing suit. It was creamy tan in color, and it had netting over it, and then pastel, not covered in sequins, but just here and there sequins, and then it had a breakaway skirt of, I'd say, 4, 5, 6 levels of netting, real full, and it was just so pretty. It was just really lovely. So, anyway.
Amazing.
Pardon?
I said that's amazing.
Well, I worked there for about a year and a half, and the costumes vary between full-size bathing suit side, when you took off the skirts, to we had a couple numbers that were two-piece, but they were, same thing, very covering. I got, I'm a morning person, basically, and we had to be there until, if it was slow, if there, it was a slow night, not many customers. Belding Cattleman was the owner, and he expected us, probably it was mandatory, that we stay in the lounge until at least 2. So, my best girlfriend there, Lori, in fact, she's still my best girlfriend. She and I would sit up at the bar, and the bartenders are real nice, and so we'd have all these different drinks that we never had before, and the bartenders were having fun, mixing them, grasshoppers and brandy Alexanders, I don't know what else. So anyway, just the hours got to me basically. So I quit and left there and went back home, and I decided I'm going to go to New York. So I had met one lady there. She was had been to Vegas, and she was from New York, and we got to talking and stuff. So I called her, and she said, "Yeah, come on." So I packed up and went to New York, and I stayed at the Barbizon Hotel for Women for 3 weeks, and then finally got an apartment that there were 2 other girls. There was 1 bedroom and 2 other girls there, and then I slept on the couch. And that didn't last too long. But anyway, my first job there, I was the receptionist at Fiat Motors, their headquarters in the United States. Mr. Garibaldi was the manager there. So I worked, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks. I don't remember how long. But I saw this call for dancers at the Latin Quarter. I don't know if you're familiar with the Latin Quarter.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay, well, they had huge production numbers. Huge. Big stage. They had, I'd say, at least 30 dancers and maybe 8 or 10 showgirls. And you really danced. You know, we're in Vegas. We just pattered around and twirled, and, just in the background for the maid, for Renee while she's doing all her stuff.
Yeah.
Twirls and, and all that. So
yeah,
I learned real quick, so I was able to keep up. But the numbers would last, long time, really production. We had one, it was like a kids' met and Arabian Nights, and they had, there was a man and a woman. They would sing love songs to each other, and we'd dance around and stuff. Well, I go in one night, and they said, "You're going to fill in for the woman singer." And I said, "What?" I said, "I can't sing, and I can't."
Yeah.
You don't want to hear me sing. And they said, "No, you don't have to sing. Just stand there, and he sings to you." I thought, oh, dear. Whenever I had watched television, and they had musicals, and I thought, how can the people sit there with a straight face while somebody is singing to them? I mean, it's so unnatural. So, I had a terrible time up there. Oh, my goodness, stopping myself. I had to smile. I was so bad, wanted to giggle and just laugh out loud. Oh, geez. I don't know what the patrons thought, or even the male singer. He didn't say anything to me afterwards. Oh, dear. So, and then another time, I don't know why they picked on me.
Yeah.
A showgirl, for some reason, didn't show up, and so they had me be a showgirl. Well, I'm 5'4", and they're like, 5'8", 5'9", and stuff, and there were a lot of dancers that were taller than me. Anyways, oh, geez, and you're way up there, and you have to walk down this curving stairway. I just remember, I was glad when I was through with that. So, let's see, that ended because Don Arden, who's a choreographer, was coming in to, oh, darn. Well, anyway, he had his own dancers and everything, and he was going to hire a couple of extras, and I interviewed for that and auditioned, actually. And no, I didn't get it. I wasn't, schooled enough, really, and the basics. So I heard they were hiring down at the Americana Hotel in Miami Beach. So I interviewed for that, got that job. And so I left New York, I went down to Miami Beach, and I wasn't there for a week or so, and they changed plans, and so just didn't work out. So
When did you begin working for Playboy?
That was about a month or two, probably a couple months, 2.5 months after I did Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
I was Playboy flew me to Chicago to shoot the September 1960 cover issue. Mm-hmm. And then while there, I'm also in 2 full pages in the August 60 issue. It's called The Nude Look. It's just plastic dresses, but in the style of the day. So anyway, during my exit interview with Hef, it's the first time I had met him. I just had talked to the art directors and the photographer there. They were putting on the finishing touches on the very first Playboy Club. And so I asked Hef if I go back to Hollywood and pack up and move here, can I have a job? And he said, sure. So I did. I went home, packed up, and moved to Chicago, and I stayed at the Mayflower Hotel for, I don't know, a few months, I guess. But it was just down the street from the club. So my first job there was I had a leotard because I didn't have a bunny outfit. And I worked at the front door welcoming members and getting their key, and you put their key up on the board and stuff. And that was about it. And so I was on salary, but I saw the waitresses were really making money there. So I asked if I could have a waitress position. And they said, well, do you have any experience? And I said, no. And they said, well, you have to have experience. So I quit, and I got a job at the Cloisters, which is a jazz club, as a waitress, a cocktail waitress. So I worked there for about 2 or 3 weeks and went back to Playboy, and then I got a job as a waitress there. So, I don't know, it's time to leave in September, I guess. Mm-hmm. I did a few, they had a television, Hefner had a television show.
Right.
And I was in several of those, and a couple of ads advertising the Playboy Club. I think I'm in about, 4 or 5 Playboys. The cover, and then those 2 big pages. July of 60, they ran a nice article on the club, and I'm in there, in that one too.
What? I was just curious. Did you ever get to sleep with Hef?
Oh God, no. No. I had a good friend in Miami Beach, and I told him, that I'm going to, to work there. And he says, you just stay away from him. He's not your type at all. You're not into his league. So I did. Hef had a Mercedes, and I wanted this, I think it was, what year? I don't know, 56 convertible Mercedes, the type with the running boards, Oh, really nice looking, and I just never had the money to buy one. So whenever we talked, I made sure that the conversation just stayed around Mercedes or whatever.
Yeah, 'cause I was always curious as to whether or not he had a big dick, because he got with so many women. Like he had to have had one, because he wasn't that good looking of a guy, and plus he was rich,
He had the power. He didn't even have to have a dick. He had power.
That's so true. Yeah. Oh my God. So you were on the cover of the September 1960 issue, which I've seen, and I was wondering, how did it feel to be on the cover of a magazine that millions and millions of men masturbate to?
I never thought of that. To me, it was an art. My body was an art. I really had a nice body. And I showed it well, too, posing and stuff. You know, when I first started, they couldn't even show nipples. They had to be either in shadow or a scarf draped over them or something. And let's see, even by the time I only modeled, let's see, from say fairly early '59 up until fall of '61.
Mm-hmm.
For 2.5 years, is that 61? So in 2.5 years, about that I know of, I'm in over 50 magazines and over 10 on the cover. So I worked a lot. I really did. I started out getting $10 an hour, and some photographer says, you need to up your price. You go to $25 an hour now. So I did, and I had no negative results from the photographers on that.
Nice. Yeah, it must have been a fun time because this was like, right at the height of the sexual revolution.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it is. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
How did you...
It was in, let's see, the director that, he's the one who turned me on to a lot of photographers. And I kept wanting to get a full tan, not, so I didn't have a lines, to put on makeup and stuff to cover lines where you're not tan, because I'm out in the sun a lot.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he was a film editor, and so he said he had his shop was on Santa Monica, and it was a fairly small building, I think 2-story, old, one of the older ones. And he says, why don't you go up on the roof? He says, you take your clothes out there. There's no buildings higher, just around there. So I did that a few times. And then he said, he told me that he and his wife, Jerry, were nudists. And Robert and I come out one weekend with them and see, and that way, you can try that. So I did. And we get in, I drove down with them. It was at the Swallows down in San Diego area. Mm-hmm. And we're in the parking lot and getting undressed. Daddy, they're getting undressed, and my hands are shaking. And here I had been, modeling for quite a while. And here I am shaking. So anyway, get there, and I just fell in love with it. I did. They're big on volleyball, and I love volleyball. So that's basically what I did. Play in the pool a little bit, not too much, but I played volleyball the whole time. In fact, when I was in Chicago, I belonged to the Sundials. Mm-hmm. They were a traveling club. They would visit, different places. And this was all family, all of the places and people that I was with. There was no hanky-panky or anything like that. If there was any overt sexual thing by men especially, they were out. Because it was a family thing. There were kids there, babies, all ages, from newborns up to into adults. So that's good. I was like, oh, that's right. So they told me that a bunch of them were going to New York or back east. They're having a nudist convention back east, and they're going, and if I showed up, then we would have enough for a team, for a volleyball team. So I took a bus. Instead of flying, I thought, gee, I want to see the countryside. So I took a Greyhound bus from Chicago to New York. What an eye-opener. get up to order my food.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is going back on, and the bus and driver is saying, come on. So, no, it didn't work out for me. But anyway, we had a lot of fun. We visited, 2 or 3 camps back east in Maryland, I know, and I'm not sure where all. Just different. I mean, so, East Coast is so different from the West Coast in so many ways. But they had a volleyball tournament. We won, of course. But, oh, geez, they didn't play by any rules. We played, like the rules.
Yeah.
Like no slapping the ball and all of that. Nah, they hit it with their open palms, and they double hit. And, they felt good if they kept it off the ground. So anyway, we won.
So how did you get to double for Janet Leigh in Psycho?
Well, one of my photographers I was working with, Mario Caselli, then for years afterward, if there was a photograph on the cover of TV Guide, it was done by Mario Caselli. He was just a fantastic photographer all around. Anyway, I was working with him one time, and he said, hey, they're looking for somebody over at Universal.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the words he said, a model or whatever. And he says, you might give it a try. So he gave me the phone number to call. I called and had an appointment with I don't know what he was, a man.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I found out it was for Hitchcock. And I had to strip down to my underpants for Hitchcock, and then went in, got dressed, went into Janet Leigh's dressing room and stripped down for her too, because our bodies, had to be fairly close, and they were. So I got the job, and I started work the next week, and I went on stage and thought, where the set was there, and so I showed up for work the first day, and it was real early in the morning, and they took about 2 hours in makeup for me, and I wore a wig, a gray and white wig, to match Janet's hairstyle, and so I had a crotch patch. They had made a crotch patches, just like real leather, no, not leather, rubber. I'm not sure what it was, but anyway, it was glued on and then attached between my buttocks in the back. And so they gave me slippers and a cotton robe, and one of them walked me over to the sound stage, and the red light is blinking, and it's saying closed set, no admittance. And so we walk in, and there on the right are bleachers, and mostly men. I don't remember seeing a woman there. I just glanced up there, and I thought, oh God, they're expecting a stripper type. So Brian Keith, I recognized him as being up there. So I went to the set and just stood around and stuff, and Hitchcock says, okay, he says, you're on, so, I want you now. So I thought, okay. So I just nonchalantly took the robe off and just started stretching, just like I do, say before a volleyball game or something like that. And I just wanted to make it very boring, basically. So I was hired for 2 or 3 days, I don't know, and I worked a week. So I don't remember getting paid extra for the week, the extra days. I would have got it for free just to be with Hitchcock. I just, he was a genius.
Yeah.
Very, very, very talented. He said, one of his lines that I think is great is that there is nothing as fearful as your own imagination.
Yeah.
And that's basically his movies. Leave it up to the imagination. He'll take it up there, but you don't see anything.
Right.
Like yeah, with the shower scene, it is. I don't know. Are you familiar with the movie 7852?
7852. Is that one of his early movies?
Huh?
Is that one of his early movies?
No. It premiered last January, Sundance Film Festival. This is a full-length documentary, and it's the first time a movie has been made that is based solely on another scene from another movie. And that scene is the shower scene. The whole movie is the shower scene. It's 7852. There's 78 cuts in that scene and 52 camera setups.
Wow. It's amazing.
It is a powerful film. First time I saw it, well, of course, I went up to Sundance for that. And looking at, I thought, I'm going to have to watch this, many times to get everything, because there's so much information. The whole concept is the impact that the shower scene has had on the industry, film industry in particular, but on society in general. And just a lot of interviews, and then he does a lot of clips and stuff. He just Alexander Philippe is the creator and director, and he just did an outstanding job. Outstanding.
Nice. I'll check that movie out.
Do.
Well,
And I've seen it now 5 times. IFC bought the American distribution rights. And they flew me to New York last October. They had Comic-Con there that time, and they had IFC had a big booth there. So I was at their booth for a few days. But and also I saw the movie twice there. And then let's see. Interviews, had a bunch of interviews for Time Inc., Playboy, Esquire. I don't know, there's about 5 different venues that I interviewed for. And, every time I've been interviewed, and when I, at the premieres or at the showings, actually, of 7852, I follow up with Q&As afterward, and I love those. I mean, it's basically, just talking to people and answering their questions. And every time I would mention working with
Alfred Hitchcock.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
I worked with him in either the fall or spring, fall 61, late 60, early 61, on a film, a little girly film, and nothing showing. I mean, breasts, and that was it.
Yeah.
But working with him, I thought, just the way he conducted himself and wanted me, how he just saw what he wanted in the film and everything, I thought he reminded me of working with Hitchcock, the same, just the same mannerisms, everything. And I thought, he was a student at UCLA Film School at the time.
Right.
And so I just, I thought, he is going somewhere. And I always mention that, too, because he did. He went on, he's huge. He's done so well. And his family has done well, too. His daughter is, carrying on in his footsteps. Well, when I came came home from New York, are you familiar with my biography, my book?
I haven't read it. No.
You're familiar with it?
No, I didn't know that you wrote one.
No, that would be an autobiography. It's a biography. It was written by, it came out in 2010. It was written by Robert Graysmith. He wrote Zodiac book and the movie based on that. Anyway, he was a big fan of mine when he was, about 18 or so. So we met, I started collecting my magazines about 10 years ago. Because I didn't have any at all. All I had was I had the August 60 issue that my mom had, and so I had purchased one that's a step different from what I'm on the cover, but that was it. So I just put in my name into eBay and see what came up. So throughout the years, I've been buying my magazines and stuff. Anyway, I met Graysmith through eBay. We both bid on the same magazine. He won, and so the same seller, I bid and won. And I told her, that's me. And she says, I figured. She says, as a matter of fact, the magazine that you just lost, I talked with him, and he wants to write an article on you. So I looked back, and anyway, I clicked on his number, and just you could talk to people, back at you still can on eBay. So I just said, I understand you want to write an article about me, and I just said, I'm Marli Renfro. He contacted me right away, so we started talking, and it turned into a book. I'm in every other chapter. The other chapters are on a man who has just I can't think of all these words now. Shit. Obsession with Psycho, and he kills older women. In fact, he killed his aunt. And I find out reading the book that he lived about a half a mile from where my parents lived in Hollywood. So, anyway, of course, let's see. So when back to coming back from IFC New York, I get a text or an email from Robert that Coppola's office had contacted his son, wanting to know if they have, the contact information on me. So he passed it on to his dad, passed that on. So I contacted the fellow, Coppola's office, and so then Coppola and I corresponded back and forth a few times. And he says, "Do you like wine?" I said, "Yeah." And so, I don't know, within a week, I got a case of wine. So that was nice. And my husband asked, he says, "Are you older than him, or is he older than you?" And I said, "I don't know." So I went online on I Googled his name, and it came up, and I'm a year and 4 days older than he is.
Wow. It's amazing. Something I've always wanted to know, in that shower scene in Psycho, they show a close-up of the belly button and the feet. Are those yours?
Yes.
Oh, good, because I've been jerking off
the belly button?
Yeah.
At that time, the censors didn't allow a belly button to be shown in the movies.
Yeah.
They had these, bikini movies, Malibu and stuff, and no, all the bikini, pockets are up over the belly button, but Hitchcock got that through because the shower scene itself is so distracting from all the cuts, bang, 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 to the music, that thing.
Yeah.
Got that through. The one thing, they didn't even see it. And the thing that they really had a hard time with was when Janet flushed the toilet. She tore up her figures and made some figures. This is before she took a shower. And threw them in the toilet and flushed the toilet. And he had a close-up of the pieces swirling down the toilet drain. Well, they finally let that go through, but they had a hard time with that.
Wow. How long was it before people knew that you were doubling for her?
Well, everybody on the set had to sign a disclosure that they don't talk about the movie. And so when I went to Chicago, a couple of months after that, I didn't even bring it up. So it isn't in the magazine that I had done Psycho. In 1966, I'm not sure of the month, but Playboy did an article on their famous covers, and my cover is on there. And in that one, they mentioned that I was Janet's double.
Do you think the internet may have had something to do with it as well?
Oh, probably. Yeah, but internet has something to do with everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I go to it all the time. I use Google all the time.
Well, that's good.
I'm a curious person. Just basically, I'm a curious person. I'm an interested person.
Are you just astounded at how much of an impact that movie has had all these years later?
Not really astounded. I've had a table at 7 or 8 WonderCons, and it's amazing the people who come up and have to tell me the effect that the shower scene has had. Some, to this day, they make sure that the door is locked. To this day, some for years wouldn't take a shower.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on. Yes, it has had an impact. I know very well firsthand. It hasn't bothered me because everything is in slow motion, when you're doing it.
Have you seen?
And I was in Chicago at Playboy when the movie came out, and my roommate Lene, she said, "Oh, Psycho's out here. Let's go watch it." And I thought, oh, how boring, because I watched some of the other scenes being filled, like Marty Balsam doing stuff, and Vera Miles and John Gavin. They all came and visited the set too. Just Vera is just sweetheart, just such a nice, gracious lady. And in fact, she wore a wig. She just got through doing a film, Amazon Women or something like that, and everybody on there had to shave their head, so she had to wear a wig, and she says, I love it, I don't have to worry about my hair.
Nice.
Anyway, so Lene said, let's go see Psycho, and I thought, oh, God, okay. So anyway, it came up, it scared me half to death when I saw it. It really did. Had no idea. The music sets the scene. Jeez, really does. It's and you think about other movies too, how the soundtrack really plays a huge part.
Yeah, it sure does. Was the whole theater screaming?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Probably. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were all terrified you know, because
Yeah.
it was pretty scary for 1960.
Oh, yeah. Very, very, very.
Have you seen the sequels and the remake?
I have no intent. You can't do better than Hitchcock, so I haven't bothered.
You're very lucky. The remake was terrible. Sequels are okay because, you know, Anthony Perkins was in them, but they just were not the same as the original.
Yeah, he's a very nice young man. He is. He was only there for a few days, and when between takes and stuff, he and the wardrobe lady and I would play word games, ghosts, and some other things.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Stephen Rebello.
Yeah.
He wrote the book Alfred Hitchcock and the Making of Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
And he's mentioned me several times. I'm in his book about, you know, being the devil and all of that. Well, they made the movie out of it. I can't think of who was in it. Silence of the Lambs guy, I think, played Hitchcock.
Oh, Jonathan Demme?
No. Anyway. I bought that book. Graysmith had told me about the book. So I put that on a search on eBay, and a book came up, and it was in England, and it was the first edition. So I bought it, and I get it, and it was in pristine condition. It had not even been read. You know, you could tell all the pages were sharp. So I wrote to Stephen in care of the publisher, asking if I sent the book to him, would he autograph it for me? And I enclosed my card.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was like in August of a year. So February.
Yeah.
February, I get a call from Stephen. Oh, yeah. Shit. Stephen Rebello. I don't know. Anyway, Rebello. How about that?
Rebello.
I get a call from him, and we're talking and stuff, and he says, darn. He says, had I known that you were here, you know, I was in California. He says, we just had the movie, the premiere of my movie on my book. And he says, I would have taken you to see it. And I thought, wow, how nice. I mean, really, just how nice. I would have appreciated that. And I probably said that too. Anyway, I find out from somebody who saw the film that they have Janet doing the whole thing. She doesn't have a body double. And I was thinking, what would be my reaction if Rebello, we had talked before, and I went to the filming, the premiere of that. How would I react to that? Disgusting. I don't know if I would have embarrassed him by walking out. But so I haven't bothered watching it. Why? You know, it's like I was in Phoenix in the late 80s, and I was in the library there, and there's Janet Leigh's new autobiography. I thought, so I picked it up and went to the index and found the Psycho, you know, and so just glancing through those pages, she described all the things that she went through to cover her nipples and just this and that, and and worried and all, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, well, if she's lying
Mm-hmm.
In 2001, my husband and I are up in Big Bear we're spending the summer up there.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching television, and I've Got a Secret came on, and it was a new show under Oxygen. And they flashed up, we enjoyed watching it, and they flashed up a number. You know, if you've got a secret, call this number. Well, I wasn't fast enough, so after that I made sure that I had a pencil and pen handy. And then we could remember the time we saw it, or the station, or whatever. But anyway, within a few weeks, I came on again, so I called, and of course you get an answering machine. And I said, I'm not famous, but I did something famous. I was Janet Leigh's acting double in the shower scene of Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get a call back. Of course, I was on, and Terry Garr was on the panel. What a sweetheart she is. Just such a nice lady.
Mm-hmm.
So I had talking to the producers before going down to tape it. I mentioned to them that I'm on the cover of Playboy. Oh, bring it. You know, we'll put it on the coffee table in front of it. I said, okay, so I did. I took it. And somebody said, well, you have to get permission to have it on there. So somebody left to make a phone call to Playboy, and she came back and she says, well, they said no, we couldn't. They don't give permission for us to have it on the table. And she said, besides, she's dead. And that's the first I heard of that. Have you heard about me being dead?
I have not heard about you being dead.
Yes. It turns out the lady who was killed by a handyman, her name is Myra Davis. Mm-hmm. She posed for, what is his name? He did the title of Psycho.
Oh, I don't know.
Saul Bass. She posed for Saul Bass for the storyboard.
Mm-hmm.
He did the storyboard too. Hitchcock directed every scene of the shower scene. I don't know about the rest of the movie, but Saul Bass has been saying that, or has said that he directed a lot of the scenes. No, it was Hitchcock the whole time. I'll set that straight too. But anyway, it got that she was the body double in the shower scene, and I don't know how it came about, but anyway, she was murdered, and it was my name that they confused with hers. They said my name instead of her name in the newspapers and stuff. I hadn't heard it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Grace Smith who worked that out and found out the truth in that. My book is really an interesting book. He's very detail-oriented. And really I found out so much about the shower scene that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And then from the movie 7852, I found out a whole bunch more. And I told him, I said, geez, I was there and I didn't know that, type stuff.
Yeah. Wow, you did so much in such a short amount of time. Like after you worked with Hitchcock and Coppola, like what happened? Did you leave the industry?
I got married.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I didn't. I became a housewife and a mother. We had a lot of friends who were in the industry, so we still did things. We had a house up in Nichols Canyon, which is the first canyon east of Laurel Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
On a cul-de-sac. And so, yeah, we were still in it, but not active like that.
Wow. When did you start doing conventions?
That had to have been in, I think, 01. So my book came out, was it 01?
I see.
First one I did was up in San Francisco.
That's where I'm from.
And, pardon?
I'm from San Francisco.
Ah, okay. Was it Marconi? No, is that it? Is that the name of a convention hall, Marconi? It starts with an M. I know that. Anyway, it was the last time they were in San Francisco. The next year they came down to Anaheim Convention Center, and it's been there just about every year since. They have a whole section, celebrity section.
Yeah.
So, they'd have 30, 40 celebrities in there. And I don't know what happened, whether they just started rooting them out or what, but it just became fewer and fewer and fewer. And so last year they weren't going to have it at all. And so I didn't, they told me they weren't going to have it. And then about within a month before it's to start, they decided, well, they will have one. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to make, hotel reservations and stuff, and they were booked and everything. So I thought, nah, I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm.
I wind up paying to go there,
Yeah.
I have to make, have a lot of expenses. Because I take quite a few of my magazines there. I have about, I'd say at least 20 photographs posters to sell. Also my book to sell. So.
Wow. Yeah, earlier this year I saw you were booked for Monsterpalooza in Pasadena, and I go every year, and unfortunately I had to skip this year. And I was really sad by that because I was looking forward to meeting you.
Oh, I had so much fun. A completely different audience. Completely different, because this is strictly film, where WonderCon is a lot of comic books and games and stuff like that. So I catch up just, anyway, it just, I like the audience a lot better at Monsterpalooza. I was there with Robert Aragon, the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Hopefully they will. They'll ask you back again next year, and I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, I'd like to go next year. I know they had one in the fall, but
yeah,
we're here.
Yeah, I had to skip that one too. Unfortunately, it's been a dark year for me, but it's getting so much. It's getting so much better now, though. I have to say.
Yeah, good. Always good to hear.
Well, Marli, I thank you so much for your time this morning, and you're an amazing woman. You've had an amazing life. I mean, it's very inspiring. It truly is.
Thank you. Yeah, just, of taking advantage of situations or just going, like going places I've never been. And, my husband and I were talking that, if it ever came to be that we had to work,
mm-hmm.
We'd have no problem finding a job or working, whatever.
Yeah.
I was in real estate for 15 years before I retired. I was in the last 11 years in property management. We managed over 400 units. That's here in the desert. And there were no apartment complexes. The largest we managed was 4 units each. So it was mostly single-family homes, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. And I was in charge of evictions. I was a notary public and really enjoyed those. I enjoyed the legal part of it.
Nice. So I'm following you on Facebook. I'll send you the link to this podcast so you can share it.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Yes, that'll be great.
I don't go on Facebook very often, and if you notice, I don't put anything personal on there. I'll maybe share some things that other people have put on, but I don't. Or I'll advertise websites when I've been on, you know, if anything having to do with my business. Oh, I do have doing business as, I have a seller's permit. It's at Marli's Market.
Mm-hmm.
And this coming year, I'm going to start selling things on eBay.
Nice.
Autographs, you know.
Photographs, yeah.
Yeah. Let me know how you want it autographed. You want just my signature, personal, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see how that goes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you have yourself a great day and happy holidays.
I will. Okay, thank you, Tommy. I enjoy talking with you, and good luck in everything you do.
Oh, thank you so much, ma'am. You have a great day, and God bless you.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Marli Renfro. Ain't she a sweetheart? I am just so fucking lucky with the people that I get to interview, and I got to interview such an amazing and inspiring woman as Marli Renfro. And it's just so profound. Thank you, Marli. I love your stories. This is one that's definitely going to go in the archives that I can bring out for my children or my grandchildren someday. But of course, I'll leave out the part where I talked about jerking off to your pictures. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.